When I'm recording footage for these videos, as I approach the hour mark, I start looking for good stopping places. Having too much footage can make editing these a real pain, since it makes it hard for me to find the highlights. On Seikima II, though, as I approached the hour mark I hadn't died, so I decided to keep on playing until I got a game over. You only have one life in the game, and I was riding a knife's edge for quite a while, so I thought it wouldn't be too long. I went out to about an hour and 20 minutes, and I'm glad, because I got to the final boss. I hadn't done that before, and the final boss in this game is amazing. We'll save that twist for a couple minutes still. Before we get to the game though, I have to tell you who Seikima II is. They were a very theatrical heavy metal band from the 1980s. Outside of Japan, they toured as End of the Century. Their name could be very loosely translated as Sacred Famine Devils. And the band has a backstory that they are actual demons from hell, here on Earth to spread Satanism with their music and cause the downfall of the world. They were pretty popular back in the day, and feel free to draw your own comparisons between their stage personas and the stage personas of a certain other popular heavy metal band. This is the first game from CBS Sony Records. They don't release a whole lot for the Famicom, but Sony had two different record divisions releasing Famicom games at the same time. I guess that can happen when you're a giant media conglomerate. The game is Seikima II, Akuma no Gyakushu, or Devil's Counterattack if you like. The plot of the game is that 4 of the 5 band members have been abducted, and it's up to band frontman His Demonic Majesty to get them back. The game is a 4-world collectathon, and each world consists of 8 interconnected rooms. You have to collect all of the items in a room to unlock the exits. Then you can go on top of them and press down to get out. Collect everything from the first 7 rooms to unlock the 8th. The captured band member is there, and you'll still have to collect everything in the room, defeat the knight that's guarding their cage, and cross all 3 of the tombstones to find a key before you can let them out. Besides just freeing the band member, you also need to buy a few things. Stores are these eyeballs that you'll find floating around, and they'll give you the status for the level as well. You'll need to buy the attack power-up for $20 to beat the guard, and you'll need to buy that band member's instrument for $30 in order to get the good ending. The potions restore 300 health, and health is constantly ticking down in this game. You'll find an occasional potion lying around, but you'll wind up having to buy some too. Now that adds up to more money than you're going to find in the stage, so you'll also need to make some extra cash. And you do that by killing enemies. There's a period of about 5 seconds after you kill an enemy, where if you kill another one, it'll give you double the score. And if you do that enough times in a row, they drop bags with $5 in them. What I'd recommend doing is locating a spot in each world where you can funnel enemies into you as they spawn. A big, open, flat area is best, but you can make other spots work. Then grind up a bunch of cash so you can buy everything you need. The most difficult thing in this game are the jumping mechanics. You can go straight up quite a ways, but as soon as you start moving left or right, you go back down. On the other hand, if you're walking and you jump, you've got this long hop that you do. It actually makes it kind of difficult to get up ledges, and there's some tight jumps you have to do around moving obstacles that are a lot harder because of this mechanic. It winds up feeling really awkward. Another problem with this game is how the enemies spawn. They just walk back and forth at the top and eventually drop down. There's a few bottlenecks in the game where that can make it pretty difficult to go up, because as soon as you've cleared a path, another enemy just drops right down. Before I wrap up, I have to mention the music in this game. It's not very good. When your game is about a band, you'd hope that they'd have some good music in it. But this seems to be about 20-second loops of some really unpleasant songs. I suspect that they're taken from actual Seikima II songs, but you can't really tell from what they're playing. Okay, you've survived the 4 worlds, you've rescued all the band members, now it's time to face the final boss. It's time to finally take down the arch-villain, Jesus Christ. Okay, the game claims that it's Zeus, but the game's about rescuing a demonic rock band so that you can perform a black mass. That final boss is definitely Jesus. He attacks with the exact same pattern as the guards, and he's not that difficult to take out. If you manage to run out of energy, though, you can continue by holding down A and B on controller 2, then pressing start on controller 1. You lose all of the instruments you collected, though, so that means you don't get the good ending if you beat Jesus. I'd recommend stocking up on a little bit of health before you rescue the 4th band member. Okay, Seikima II. It's not a good game. It's basically an empty collectathon, and your movement feels pretty awful. But I still kind of like it. It's one of the more absurd games I've played on the Famicom. And while it's clunky, it's not impossible to overcome. This is a game I could never recommend, but I also think that a lot of people wouldn't mind checking out.